You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, you know, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again. Welcome back to another week of Friendship University. I'm Kristen. As our returning people may know, if you don't, welcome to the newbies. I am joined by the magnificent Miki.
You've already used that one. No.
And I can use it again. Did magnificent disappear out of the dictionary?
Can you not just use something else? Can you not be more creative?
You want to give your own adjective?
I don't have it running. Trash. Garbage.
The trashy Miki. You would rather me say that than magnificent.
I'd rather you put some effort into finding an adjective for me. You have a week to think of one adjective. There's a whole internet.
You have a week to decide to not be a jackass too. But here we are.
Wow.
Still on the same page. We are on every week. Hey, you know what? How are you? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, actually.
I bet.
I'm doing great. Like, you know.
Uh-huh.
Do you have something to say?
No.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Do you want to fight?
We can fight. I don't want to fight, but I won't back down from a fight.
We can throw hands if we must.
That's not even necessary. I don't even understand. I just want you to tell us why you're so excited.
Anyway, because I'm going on a trip next week. Okay, so like, I haven't been on a vacation where I don't do anything and just relax and chill in... Meaning about that. I graduated in 2014. It's 2022. Probably that entire time.
Insert ocean waves.
Yeah, going on a trip next week. Very excited to just relax and let my brain just like turn off. I feel like on any given day, like my brain looks like the inside of SpongeBob's brain when he was like having a meltdown and everything was on fire. And there's a little version of me just going on one of the machines that have caught fire.
He maintained though the machines, they didn't burn all at once. So maybe slowly burning out fires is better than.
At this point, my brain only knows how to work and breathe.
Oh, I'm excited for you.
Same.
I'm excited for you to sit back and relax and just chill.
But how about you, Dr. Raggedy? How are you feeling?
You see how you keep stuff? We was past that.
I don't think we were.
Do you have something to say?
No, I've already said what I had to say.
Okay, well, I'm good. I'm just, we would be remiss in not acknowledging. By the time you all hear this will probably be weeks past now, but the losing of Takeoff from the Migos, another, young black man that didn't reach the age of 30 is very disheartening to me.
I didn't know he was that young. Actually.
He was
I knew he was young, but I didn't know he was that young.
He was 28, and there's something in. I'm just feeling very vexed by the desensitization that's happening in this society. The fact that our black men are not making it to elder age. It's just like seeing 1994 to 2022 for me just doesn't make sense. It's just like, that's so senseless. But I'm still hopeful, and big shout out and prayers and peace to the family and friends, all those impacted by, his unexpected passing. It's very tragic. It's very terrible. So that was I made the mistake of I fell asleep around like midnight last night because I was at a friend's because my power was out because braggedy. And when I got home, I immediately went to sleep because I was so tired. I mean, I was falling asleep at their house. So normally, if I go to sleep that late, I don't wake up till like 7, 8, and my body normally will give itself 8 hours. But for some reason, I woke up at like 5:30, and I got on Twitter and I saw it then. I saw people talking about it then, and I was like, oh, this must be speculation. I don't know. There's no news outlets about it. Went back to sleep, woke up, saw it, and I was like, damn, like it's just so tragic. But outside of that, I'm well. I'm out here. Halloween's over. Now I'm moving on to the next holiday. I like decorating, so now it's time for me to flip my house.
Yeah, that you do enjoy decorating.
So
I my favorite holiday's coming up because I like to eat, which is Thanksgiving. At the same time, I'm also kind of like disillusioned or disfranchised. I don't really know what the whole holiday thing. I'm kind of just like, I just want to make it to January at this point. Honestly, I'm just like tired. I'm just tired. I feel like the end of the year I can just take like a long nap and like reboot.
I think this vacation is going to help you reset for sure.
Oh my God, I hope so.
And then you'll get some time off for the holidays, so that'll be really nice. I mean, listen, between that with Takeoff and Elon Musty out here talking about y'all gonna be having to pay for y'all blue checks or whatever, y'all certified checks. I think the whole world needs a break. We
really do.
Honestly,
we're just tired.
We got one 2 years ago, but you niggas didn't want to sit down. I don't want what happened 2 years ago to happen again. Let's be clear. I'm just saying, be aware when you get the opportunity to slow down. Don't take it for granted.
Yeah, it's me. It's me. Next time the world shuts down, I'm also shutting down.
I'm hoping next time we are elderly and we don't have to worry about that. We'll just be sitting in our rocking chairs. Like,
just chilling.
Looking at the youth like, oh, y'all going on spring break.
Wow.
Well, y'all wow. And somebody brings us Milo's iced tea and water for me.
And no water for you.
Anyway, so we'd like to welcome all of our new comers, listeners, and welcome back to everyone who's been supporting us. We thank you. Welcome one, welcome all, welcome everybody, everyone. We're gonna go into our week's discussion. Listen, this week, if you're listening, I'm just gonna be honest. You already know the vibes. You already know what the big headline is. Wakanda forever. We went to see Wakanda Forever. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. We waited till Monday, which was a gamble.
We didn't have a choice. I was literally stuck in the middle of the ocean. Here's what happened.
Here's actually what happened. We were looking at tickets to go Friday when you all were supposed to come back. You didn't come back. Thank goodness we did not get those tickets that we were looking at. And then we were like, oh, Saturday. And unless we wanted to break our necks or lose our vision, we could not get tickets for Saturday. Sunday, wanted my people to relax and chill because I know it was just like tumultuous.
It was me.
Just,
I stayed in bed
kicking my feet up on a boat with a sun on me, just Mai Tais and
I don't even like Mai Tais, so
sunscreen and just
it was so much work.
Smooth cruising and just ocean sounds around me. It was so tough for me to hear that for an extra day.
This is what I'm saying when I say existing is exhausting. Because even relaxing was exhausting to an extent.
It was so tough for me existing with the ocean sounds for 20 more hours in my ear.
Just ghetto.
But, so, we decided, went to, which turned out really well because our theater wasn't packed, even though we had quite a few. So, I don't know. So, we went with our mutual friend. And, the person next to Miki, which I was next to Miki, so it was Miki, me, mutual friend. The person on the right of Miki's phone went off.
Twice. During the most intimate moments.
It was like so quiet. And I looked over. And I think at one point I tried to grab your hand because I was like, please. Because I knew if you fight, I fight. We fight together.
There were so many people talking in that movie. I can't deal with this.
I can't.
Everyone was talking, and like,
I can't even be mad though because later on I did my black thing.
We had our black moments, and so I couldn't be like, so I didn't say anything because I also had like moments where I would pull you over and be like, "Girl, this is crazy." But there are definitely points where I was just wanted to stand up and look at them like.
But it was so funny because it was right after AMC had told you
no talking,
no
texting,
phones,
no nothing, nothing. Just shut the fuck up.
Make sure it's on silent so you don't. And it was like 10 minutes later.
10 minutes later, and you know what it was? It was the most annoying ringtones because they were older because they had this stereotypical AT&T circa 2008 ringtone. You know the one. The default AT&T ringtone from that they grandfathered in from the first iPhone they got. But yes, we will be talking about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever today. Of course, heavy spoilers. Heavy spoilers. This movie just came out this week. This episode will be posted Friday after the movie came out. So if you have not seen it yet, go ahead and pause. 2 weeks?
Oh, a week.
What is time? Who knows? It came out. It's a new movie. If you haven't seen it, if you care about spoilers, this is your chance to hop off. We will not be giving you another warning moving forward. But if you don't care about spoilers like myself, feel free to stay. I don't mind spoilers because I'm going to enjoy something.
Spoilers are one thing though, but we're going to be talking about it, and some of it is like spoiler. I mean, spoiler as in
we are
who's going to be the next Black Panther.
We are talking about
not a big spoiler. We all knew that.
No, we didn't. All except you. No, we didn't. Hush.
All except you.
We all knew who the new Black Panther was going to be. We all knew who the next Black Panther was going to be, and unfortunately, Disney fucked up. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So we'll be talking about nothing's off bounds here. So, like I said, that's the only warning you're going to get, and we're going to move forward.
All right, spoilers.
Boop. Okay.
Okay, so what relationship are we going to talk about first?
I think we should start big and go. Let's just go big. We need to talk about the relationship between Shuri and her brother.
And the Black Panther.
The late, great Chadwick Boseman.
For sure. Rest in paradise, for sure. Rest well.
Let's talk about how it starts. So, I was personally curious how they were going to write him out of the story.
Yeah. Because
Disney openly said, we're not going to replace him. We're not going to recast him.
Yep,
we're not going to War Machine him or replace him from Terrence Howard to Don Cheadle and pretend nothing happened. Iron Man 1, he said, oh, next time, baby. Iron Man 2, they were like, never seen it before. That's the same man.
They had to move my man Don Cheadle to a better role. They had to move him on to a better role. No, they replaced
Terrence Howard with Don Cheadle in Iron Man 2. And they were, no, we didn't talk about it. It wasn't, it was the same person.
Came up later.
I love it.
He had to.
So yeah, they didn't decide to just replace him with another random, black man, which I'm happy they didn't do that, which we'll talk about later down the line. So honestly, the movie opens with him dying of a rare disease, similar to what he did here in real life.
They didn't say what the disease was. I feel like they left it ambiguous on purpose, but yeah, it was.
Which was very smart. I mean,
absolutely.
I think it was very wise for them to do that.
So the very first scene is Shuri literally trying to save her brother.
Save her brother as a scientist.
Because she's a very smart cookie.
She's supposed to be smart enough to do these DNA things. I think, so we go on and we see this like moments of Shuri trying to save him, and it kind of is foreshadowing of who she becomes because she fails inevitably. She is unable to save him, which anybody watching knows. How would she be able to? Because we know he's unalive in real life,
unfortunately.
So I just felt like at first I really looked at it like a sibling bond. When the moments happen in the beginning of the movie, because they flashback to like their different
I
was like, I can get that. I fortunately have never lost a sibling, right? But I can imagine losing one of my siblings, losing somebody that close to me. I was like, okay, whatever. But as we moved on, I realized they actually liked each other.
Oh yeah,
they were actually friends.
And
like,
the flashbacks, right? The way they spent time together,
yeah,
they had secret handshakes and inside jokes.
That's your friend. That's really your friend. And so it made me think about the fact that I have a lot of siblings.
Keep her by the dozen over there.
Yeah, my mama busting the wide open for a real nigga. All while married. And that was the real nigga. Busting it wide open for a real nigga. You know. She ain't ashamed. I ain't ashamed.
I'm not ashamed either. I mean, go off, queen, but like, damn.
You do?
My mom busted it down twice and was like, I'm done. I'm good.
And I'm kind of close to my siblings. And some of them I can consider friends, honestly.
Meanwhile, I would slap both my siblings with a rubber chicken.
You know how they tell you, would you slap your coworker for $25?
For free! For free.
Malik would do it for free.
I'll pay you, actually.
No, but I felt that as the movie went on. So Shuri, the Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman original, on screen at least, and we learned like their bond was so close. Like she almost blamed herself for his death.
So yeah, later as the story moves on, everyone's trying a big plot point for a lot of the Wakandans is like moving past like losing their king.
Moving on.
And Shuri, similar to, I think a lot of people can relate to it, honestly. Even myself to an extent. Shuri's version of dealing with it is essentially not dealing with it by like distracting herself with her inventions or, you know, distracting herself in her lab, all this other stuff like that, which I think a lot of people can relate to. Like, you lose someone super close to you, not only your brother, but like your best friend, someone you spent your entire life with. And then, you know, you're just kind of like, I'm just not going to deal with that feeling, so I'm going to focus on other things. Because we talked about it in grief. People deal with grief differently.
Yeah, you can go back and reference that episode.
Yeah, get them views up. Because this sense that y'all are slagging us, it's not working. We need money. Anyway, and it's really interesting that as time goes on, like, you can kind of see a lot of how Shuri and T'Challa's relationship kind of like influenced her as like the kind of person she wants to become. So later down the line, like I said, spoiler, that's the last one you're gonna get. She does take on the mantle of Black Panther, and she is given a decision to act a certain way, either act like her brother or go a different route. And it really, like, she goes the route of acting more like her brother, and like, you know, it really weighed on her because she was like, she really sat there like, I don't know if I'm nothing like my brother, but you realize, and she realizes, no, we're a lot alike. We're best friends. We spend all this time together, and so she honors him and makes a certain choice to act more so like her brother. So, I love their relationship. It's incredible. I wish we got more of it. Unfortunately, with his passing, we really won't be getting any more of that. At least that form of the dynamic. There is something that happens a little bit later that we find out about our old boy. Which I'm very excited to see what that relationship is going to turn into, but we can get into that a little bit later. Would you say you have any sibling relationships that are similar to T'Challa and Shuri?
I think so. I definitely agree that they were very close. I do have a sibling close to me, the closest in age to me, because I have multiple siblings, and we have bonds like that. I can't say it's T'Challa and Shuri, but for sure it's just kind of strong and I got your back. And what I thought was interesting when I watched is that grief changes you, right? And so it's kind of Shuri and T'Challa had this relationship, and it was kind of she learned from him, he learned from her, because even in the beginning you can see some of the quirkiness of she's in science and, you can't answer certain things without manipulation or equations or different things. And T'Challa's well, your faith, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And she's well, no, I have an answer for that. And then he dies and she has no answer whatsoever. She's I don't have any answer for this. Where do I go from here? And we see how it changes her. Mm-hmm. That grief changes her to a mechanism, spoiler alert again, that she feels like she would never be, but she meets someone when she becomes a Black Panther, mm-hmm. who she never thought she would see. Killmonger is there, and she's we're nothing alike, and he's no. And I when she saw him in my mind, in my heart, I was anger. I was anger. It's anger. Anger has no logic. That's why Killmonger didn't make it, because when you're angry, you go and you go and you go and you go and you go. You have no boundaries of when you will stop. Same with, you know what I'm saying, her. Until she realized I cannot be led by anger. Same by your boy. I don't want to say Merman, because that's rude. That's real rude. Merman.
Try again.
Who?
Come on, you can try better than that.
Merman.
Wow. Namor. The Submariner.
Namor was led by anger too. And it's so funny because so long story, not so long. When my father passed away, the sibling that I'm very, very close to turned dark. And I was no. You can't. And she was no, why do you have to be so upset? And I was why do you have to? And she was how are you so calm? You're not mad. We don't have a sibling, blah, blah, blah. And it was mad. And so when I saw that anger, I'm I recognize that. And I'm anger has no logic. I learned that very early on. When Shuri was in the ocean trying to talk to him, no logic. When someone has vengeance or anger in their heart, you can't talk logic to them at all, period. So I was okay, well, I know that her brother is not angry. So that hurt changed her. And I knew what that felt like. So I was okay, well, we'll see what this plot has to go, where we're going with it, and then, you know what I'm saying, XYZ happened, and blah, 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 and then we're at the moment where she figures out that she doesn't want to be angry. Mm-hmm. She wants to be like her brother, like you mentioned earlier before, and she chooses to do that. And now, granted, that decision is not without consequence. Every action has a reaction. So, you know, we saw at the end, your boy is like, well, something's going to happen. The world is going to come for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, I think the movie does a really good job as far as exploring that relationship, especially from like a sibling dynamic, but also a friendship dynamic, because you know you can be friends with your siblings apparently. Again, I would slap them both with a rubber chicken if I had the opportunity.
I mean, anybody say I wouldn't do that.
I also want to talk about another reread. No, sorry, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about another relationship I thought was very interesting, which is Shuri and Riri Williams, which is Ironheart.
Ironheart.
Yes. Most people don't know who Ironheart is. TLDR.
Please.
So Tony Stark in the comics. Actually, let me pull it back a little bit. So she's a super genius. Like she's pretty much as smart as Tony. She goes to MIT. This is the same thing pretty much in the movie. But she's really inspired by like Tony and stuff like that. So she ends up building her own Iron Man suit out of random stuff she found at MIT. Gets the attention of Tony Stark. He pretty much funds her as a superhero. Blah blah blah.
So in the comics, it's Tony Stark that funds her.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the movie, it's a little different. In the movie, she gets the attention of the primary antagonist of the movie, who is Namor. She has pretty much unintentionally. She did it on accident. That's how smart she is. She built a tool that would have caused a lot of issues for Namor. So of course Namor's like, I'm gonna kill you, bitch. Like, you know,
the city of Wakanda
decides to protect her.
Yeah.
So within this relationship, Riri and Shuri eventually do meet, and initially, I guess initially, you can tell there's already like an immediate click between the two of them. You can tell they get each other. They're both younger, you know, black females, probably within like 5 years of each other's age, more or less. Actually, I don't know how old Shuri is.
I would imagine Shuri.
Who plays Shuri in the movie? Like, who's her actress?
Lakeith? Not Lakeith. Oh my God, Letitia. Letitia is her name. And I want to say maybe she may actually be 30.
Really? She
Letitia.
looks so young. Black don't crack, okay?
But she is supposed to be a child in Black Panther original, which came out in 2018. So I'm gonna assume
she's 29. So
as a child, they were thinking like 14, 15. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
like,
yeah, Riri is.
Oh, she's so young. You're leaving. We have washed from the mountain tops. Like
Shuri, so she's Letitia Wright's 29. I don't know if she's supposed to be 29.
I would say in this movie, she may be in her early 20s.
Probably.
She's supposed to be in her early 20s.
I'm looking it up.
Because if you say 2018, 4 years ago.
Okay, so
yeah.
So Letitia Wright plays a 16-year-old in Black Panther, the first one. So a few years passed, so she's probably like 19, probably around the same age as Shuri.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be not an adult,
young
but
adult.
It's still a child.
Yeah, so
still a child, especially in that culture for sure.
So they meet, immediately click. Well, yes, I think it is a friendship dynamic that is like we're sisters, we get each other. Like it's very much like a, it kind of does give me like that like school friendship vibe to an extent, where it's just like you're cool, we have similar interests, let's just hang out. Like it's very innocent.
Totally agree.
However, I think it's more than that. I think there's some chemistry there that can go somewhere.
Are you saying what I think you're saying?
Yes, I could see them going route.
Okay.
Friends to lovers.
Okay. So you say that, and I too had slight thoughts of it too, but did what we see in the ending scene change what we now think about that? Where we saw another couple
Not at all. What does that have to do with anything? Why couldn't that has nothing to do with anything? She can be a gay auntie.
No, I'm just saying. When have you ever seen multiple in the MCU?
Oh, you're talking about that?
Yeah, like so. It's like we saw that. So you're thinking that the MCU would be like, all right, well, we just threw this little bone here.
Yeah, absolutely. There's been multiple gay couples in the MCU now. One of the Eternals has a gay couple.
In the same.
I could see them doing it, yes. 100%.
Okay.
Mainly because Riri is a lesbian inside the comics, and I'm pretty sure Shuri is too.
Here's the thing, though.
I think.
Because I saw people talking about her wardrobe, and I looked it up, and there's no conversation about her sexuality whatsoever. She has never confirmed or denied what she is. I saw that though, because I was like, people were like, "Oh, Shuri, yeah, you better go off. You better do like this with your like tracksuit, blah blah blah." And I was like, has she ever like openly spoken about what she is? She has never openly spoken about what she is.
I mean, it's not really that important, but anyway, I like their relationship a lot. It's definitely, like I said, like sister, best friend vibes. Like, hey girl, oh my god, it's giving Penny Proud and Dejanay from the
Well,
Proud
that's
family.
what I was thinking.
But
that's what I was thinking.
I feel like it develops into more later. But that's just me. Maybe that's because I'm gay and I want everyone else to be gay too.
We got our people though.
We got our people.
And what's her name?
I don't remember either of them two girls' names. The two Dora Milaje.
You know their name. You know what they're a part of though. Let me see.
I know that. Yeah, I know
Dora
that
Milaje. Let's see. Enika.
Sure.
I think is her name.
I guess.
Who and Ayoye, I think.
Totally. That's on me. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm sorry. And it's not because they all look similar. It's because they all have similar names. That's the problem.
That's fair. Wait a minute. That's not fair.
But yeah. So I personally think Shuri and Riri's relationship is really exciting, and like I'm really interested to see where that goes.
Can I ask you? You know her character in the comics, does she express...
Who? Riri or the other one? Or Shuri?
No, you know Riri's comic character.
Yeah.
Does she express that in the comics?
She kisses a girl. She's about that. She's about that life. Okay.
And does it go much...
I mean, they don't have a relationship in the comics as far as I know. That's new. That's a new on-screen thing. I don't even think she interacts with Wakanda, honestly, in the comics. I don't read her comics. I'm not going to hold you. I just know bits and pieces about her. I could be very wrong about everything I just said. Well, not the gay thing. That's accurate. But as far as she ever interacted with Shuri in the comics, I don't know, maybe. Again, she's more of like a Tony Stark thing in the comics more than like a Black Panther thing. But like I said, I'm pretty interested to see where that's going to go. Mind you, we're probably not getting another Black Panther movie for like 6 years. So,
I mean, we didn't get this for 4 years, so.
Okay, what, maybe 4? Really? It's only 4 years?
2018 was when we got Wakanda, when we got Black Panther.
I feel like it's been so much longer than that. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I also want to talk about the relationship between what should have been Black Panther, my queen, my goddess, who ate the fuck up out of this movie. Everyone acted good in this movie, but she ate every scene she was in. You hear me? You would have thought she lost her own child in real life.
Walked up on the scene and made your ceiling missing.
Oh, shit. Wigs peeled, cat back blued. Mm-hmm. My girl, Angela Bassett, Queen Ramonda. I want to talk about the semi-friendship, start off with, I should say, the semi-friendship, but also obviously that's your daughter relationship that she has with Shuri, who is her daughter, the princess, or do they have princesses?
Yeah, she was the princess.
The princess of Wakanda? Mm-hmm. That sounds very Disney. It sounds weird.
Princess. I mean, we don't want to talk about it, but let's talk about how Disney
They do. Disney does own Black Panther.
But she is a princess, nonetheless.
She is.
That is the monarchy there.
I just don't remember if they ever referred to her as a princess, but I guess
they do.
They do. They definitely do. You're right.
Yeah, they do in the movie. Refer to her as princess, and then they refer to her as queen, and then her artificial intelligence is confused because he's like,
right?
Do I say queen or panther?
Like,
Panther?
who are you, girl? I don't really know what to do here. But yeah, so I think we're gonna have a separate episode about can you be friends with your parents eventually. Either that or we already have. Who knows at this point? I forget.
I think we've talked a little bit about it, but we could definitely have.
We'll definitely have an episode about it.
Yeah, an episode about that.
Their relationship in the first Black Panther versus the Black Panther, the new one, Wakanda Forever, is different, but that's because the circumstances of what they're dealing with is different.
Yeah, very different.
I would say in the first Black Panther, you could tell that similar to her relationship with her brother, we didn't get to see a relationship with the dad because the dad died in Civil War.
Yeah.
But you can tell they're all very buddy. You can tell they have inside jokes and they, enjoy each other's company. Like, even between, the Queen or my girl Angela Bassett, who again I should have been the Black Panther. The way she interacts with both her children is very friendly. It's very like, yeah, I still have authority over you because I'm your mama, but we're still closer than that in a sense of like we feel comfortable telling each other things. We feel comfortable confiding in each other and being there for each other and stuff like that. And then in Wakanda Forever, their relationship definitely becomes a lot more strained because they're both dealing with a lot of grief. They're dealing with the grief of losing. They're still dealing with the grief of losing, the original king, so T'Challa's dad.
Her dad.
Still dealing with the grief of losing their son, her son, and then Shuri's brother. Where it kind of switches more into like the parental relationship again versus like friendship. I think the Queen does her best to still keep that friendship thing going because Shuri's so like shut down, and admittedly, like it's understandable. She's playing like a 19-year-old or whatever. Like she's really young. She wouldn't have the tools to really deal with grief and stuff like that. Unlike Queen Ramonda, who has probably dealt with a lot of grief in her life because I don't know why they put that wig on Angela to make her look like she was 67. It was wild. That wig was white. It made her look like she was Queen Elizabeth age, but she looked good. She was she ate up every scene she was in. Outfits, acting, all of it. And also, I was going to throw this out there. Shuri got to hug Angela Bassett for like 5 minutes. And I am just upset that I have not hugged Angela Bassett for that long.
When I saw that hug, I thought that's the hug I need to heal me. For sure.
If there's anybody I want to hug me, it's Angela Bassett.
That's the hug. We talk about mammy titties and all that. No, that's the hug.
To cure everything.
Cure everything.
So, like I said, they're both dealing with grief. And like I said, they still try to have that friendshipy vibe, but it definitely switches to more like I'm like mother caretaker time now. What I do find to be a lot more of an interesting relationship is Queen Ramonda and the head of the Dora Milaje.
Okoye. That's what I wanted to talk about. Queen Ramonda and Okoye's friendship for sure.
You want to take it away?
What were you thinking? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was gonna let you just like segue in, but I can start it off. So I'll just set the scene. So of course, a lot of the relationships in Black Panther Wakanda relationships that pretty much happen off screen because we kind of jump in the middle of it being this already established, set of characters, and they already have relationships and stuff like that. So we didn't really get to see their relationship in real time and stuff like that. So we kind of just got to go off what the movie tells us. So the Queen trusts, what's her name again? Okoye?
Okoye, who is the chief of the Dora Milaje,
which is the Wakanda like special security like forces team. A bunch of badass women who don't fuck around, basically. Yeah. So with everything going on with you know, them having to go save Riri from, like, you know, being impaled by fish people, and the death of T'Challa, and, you know, Shuri kind of shutting down. She has the idea of, like, hey, you know, it might be a good idea to let Shuri just go out, get some air, get her brain off of things. And the Queen is like, you know, you're my best friend. You know, we're good friends. We've been through a lot together. You knew my husband, and we've been through wars and all this other stuff. Well, maybe not wars, but some stuff together. And she was like, I trust you. Take care of my daughter. You know, you're good to go. Unfortunately, that does not go the way they anticipated, and it does involve. Eventually, Shuri does get taken, and she is. Okoye then has to go back to Wakanda with her failures and face her consequences. And Queen Ramonda has to make a decision to essentially alleviate Okoye of her position. Because, I mean, admittedly, she fucked up pretty big. She lost the princess of the strongest nation on the planet. So, strips her of her title. And you can tell it's a really difficult thing for them both to kind of experience, to essentially have their relationship end, especially after being through so much together. Again, most of it happens off screen. And it kind of makes me think about, like, you know, friendships where you have to make some really tough calls. Like, there are some times you're just like, this is gonna suck for both of us, but we have to make it. We have to make it.
What's the determining factor? Is what that told me is, what's the determining factor of, like, you choosing, all right, I have to make the decision that's best for me, moving on with my family that doesn't include you. It made me think about, you know how people bring on their friends and family as co-workers.
I'll never do it again.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you have a business and you're like, people always say, well, we can separate business from family, until you actually have to separate business from family. That's what Okoye and Queen Ramonda's relationship showed me, because at the end of the day, she had to think about, like, not only personal but business. I gotta think about what is moving forward with me. Mm-hmm. Even though I love you, what you have done. Because she even brought up, like, past things that had hurt her. Well, she was like, I trusted you after you stood by Killmonger, or whatever.
I was like, who, bitch?
King
Kong, girl. Yeah,
King Kong, or whoever. Because that was her job, though.
That was her job.
And not only her job, but who she was.
Her entire life was that job of being security.
Yeah, and I think for even going back to that, for me, it kind of makes me think about, like, we don't take seriously some of the decisions our friends have to make. Like, we take so personally, like, she had given her whole life. You want to think about, like, from birth to where she was, to be a Dora Milaje. Mm-hmm. Be that, like, she was like, I support whoever's on that throne regardless. Like, this is what I have given my life for. Mm-hmm. But for maybe like a me or you, I'd have been like, well, bitch.
You got my daughter kidnapped. Like, okay. What the fuck?
Or he's sick. Like, but we don't understand, like, no. That is who she is. And there's actually a nobility in understanding, like, that's who she is. We know who she's going to be, who she said she was going to be. So, I think the Okoye and Queen relationship was interesting watching. Especially that breakdown where she really had to, like, let her go.
Yeah, and she didn't even have a chance to say bye, because unfortunately they got rid of my girl.
My girl.
They
was
gone. So unfortunately, Ramonda did not make it to the end. So unfortunately, she didn't even really a chance to say goodbye or, like, rectify things.
It was like ended. Yeah. I mean, maybe in another universe. You know how Marvel likes to do.
Oh, Marvel. I would also, speaking of Okoye, want to talk about the best relationship ever in the entire movie between her and the colonizer.
I thought you would have talked about Shuri and the colonizer first.
Let's just talk about them both in the colonizer.
Agent Green? Is that his name?
I don't remember his name. I just know him as the colonizer at this point because that's all they call him.
You're wild.
I love their relationship. It's giving like sassy coworker friends where it's like we don't really hang out at all ever, but like, you know, we're chill when we have to work together and we do a good job when we work together, but we be clowning each other daily, minutely, secondly. Anytime they have a chance to call that man a colonizer, they be doing it.
Well, anytime she has a chance to call that man a colonizer. Well, her and Shuri, for sure.
Yes. Okoye.
But Okoye, Shuri actually really likes that man and she trusts him. Okoye does not.
Towards the end, she does. You can tell that she starts to enjoy his company.
Yeah, she got nothing left.
She
ain't got nothing left.
She's not so Agent Ross.
Agent Ross is gonna give
his
her.
name was Agent Green.
Oh, maybe it was Green. Was it Green Ross?
It's.
Green
hold on,
Ross.
Is Ross the other
Ross
white guy?
Green.
I hate you. The colonizer.
It's got to be something.
Yeah, that relationship is just funny to me, honestly.
I think it is cute though. Okay, so I'm gonna back it up a little bit. The relationship between Shuri and Agent Colonizer.
That's his name.
Would you say it's a friendship?
Absolutely. Like I said, it's more like a work buddies friendship. Like they're not the best friends in the world, but like they definitely enjoy each other's company. They work together on like certain tasks and get those tasks done properly. And so
that's a friendship, or is that just is that just a specific relationship, like
work friends, girl? Yes, work friends.
Okay. So what about So you think that's just a friendship? All right. So what about Agent Green Ross, whatever I said. I don't know what his real name is. I think it's Agent Ross. I think it is Everett Ross.
No, I don't think it's Everett Ross because I think that's the other guy from Civil War who was like, the Avengers need to be
I think that's Green. That's what I feel like that's what I'm mixing up. I feel like it's Everett Ross. But
I guess it is Everett Ross.
It's Everett Ross?
Yes.
I feel like I feel like something else is green somewhere else that I cannot think of. But
yes, so we'll go on.
So what about the relationship between... Well, he doesn't even have a relationship with anybody else. So let me say, what about the relationship between M'Baku and Shuri?
I am hard pressed to say they really have a friendship at all. In the first Black Panther, you can kind of tell that she dealt with him out of necessity, but I guess that's a lot of Wakanda. They just deal with the Jabari tribe out of necessity because they're like the strong men, but they're also kind of unruly, and they're just like, if we must, I guess. I would say come this movie, that relationship has definitely become more friendly than it was before because the M'Baku tribe did come and like help them a lot in the first movie, and they come to help the Wakandans again in the second movie quite a bit. They're all Wakandans, but they're different tribes. So come to the second movie, of course they help them even more. But even still, like, they don't really seem to like... It seems... How do I put this properly? It's kind of like distant cousin vibes, where it's like they interact, like they kind of get each other, but like for the most part, they're just like, yeah, we have to kind of interact. That's pretty much it. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't really see them having a friendship, not at least right now. Not at this moment, no.
I would totally agree with that. For sure, they do not. I don't think they have a friendship at all. They have a connection that happens, and I think that both of them have moments where they empathize with one another for sure. What's going on, but I can see that being a setup for a friendship later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely later. But right now, I think it's more of like sure. Like I think one of the last thing he says to her is just like, well, no, not the last thing. So before she becomes the Black Panther, like, and she's like grieving the loss of her mother, he's like, yeah, girl, shit's rough. Don't know what to tell you, girl. Goodbye.
No, he says something along the lines of like, she does a recall when they experience you experiencing something earlier on in the cast or the producers' bright lines that draw back to it, and so there's a recall to her being like, oh yeah, like a young girl who scoffs at tradition and blah blah blah, like he says in the first Black Panther. And then he's like, I would say you have experienced too much grief to be considered a young child anymore. Or something like that. So that's him acknowledging like, oh, you've been grown up. Like, I have to treat you. Because even when she goes back as the Black Panther.
Should have been Angela Bassett. But
and she's like, we're going to do this. And he's like, I don't think that's in the best interest. She's like, no, we're going to do this. Do you understand?
Period.
We meet at dawn.
Okay.
Period.
That's it.
And that's the end of the scene. Like, he's going to be there.
So yeah, like, I'm really hard pressed that they have a relationship or a friendship. Honestly, I don't know what to call it. I really don't.
I think it's just a relationship by proxy. Really.
Pretty much, yeah. And I feel like to finish us off, we should talk about the relationship between our two headliners of the movie, which is the new queen of Wakanda, Shuri, the Black Panther,
yes,
and Namor,
for sure,
Namor, who is the king of
the god.
The considered the god of the underworld city that is not Atlantis, because DC took the name Atlantis for Aquaman. It's Atlantis in the comics, but because there's already an Atlantis in DC with Aquaman, they're like, we're gonna call it this.
And Aquaman is shaking in his boots.
Shaking.
I mean,
because he ain't got wings on his feet.
Namor. Oh. And why doesn't Aquaman have wings on his feet?
Because he's not a mutant. Yeah, Namor's a mutant. It's interesting. Yes, he has wings on his feet. Anyway, so the relationship between these two very powerful individuals is very interesting to me. Because
I thought about that.
Even though they kind of have a conflict of interest,
they have similar
thought processes, and you can even tell why they're on these two opposite sides of the coin, that they sympathize and understand each other in a way that both of them don't really have the ability, like, have anyone in their life to sympathize with like that. Because, like, Shuri, obviously, like, she just lost her brother and, you know, stuff like that. Namor lost his mother when he was really young. They both have experienced loss. They both, to some extent or another, know what it feels like to lose someone super close to them, and also have these responsibilities to, like, protect their countries and all this stuff like that. I found their relationship really adorable, honestly, and it felt honestly purely like just comrades, but like definitely potential to become friendships. Of course, before, you know, they had to try to murder each other. So I'm very excited to see where that relationship goes. I think that'll definitely become a very strong alliance in the future. Maybe a little shaky one, because it might be an alliance out of requirement more than out of because we want to.
But I think eventually it will get back to because we want to protect each other, for sure.
Right. Because
it started out with wanting to protect each other.
My
Don't be
cat
looking
is
at your
licking
cat.
the
He's
hell
raggedy.
out of my arm right
And if
now.
you hear something that sounds like HBO Cinemax After Dark, that's our mascot cat.
Why are you like this?
He's licking the arms with arms wide open. But no, I definitely agree with that for sure, because I was thinking about that too. I was like, well, you see them going and have this like moment, and it's almost romantic. They make it look romantic in the film, like, oh, they're gonna fall in love or blah blah blah. But that's not what I thought. I just thought that when I saw him telling her the history, I was like, oh, he's getting louder.
He's tickling me.
But I thought about the fact that he's going to appease to the part of her who knows what that feels like, because he started talking about just
being angry,
colonization,
colonizer,
anger,
we need to destroy the world
just
together.
like, yeah, and he was
she's like, I don't know about all that. I don't know if we can destroy the world, but like, you know.
And then she tried to. Here's the thing that is funny to me. Sometimes people will recognize something on you and they'll call it out because they recognize it in themselves too. But because you recognize it in them, you will not acknowledge it. And so it's like, he was like, I heard you that night on the ocean talking about you wanted to burn the world. She was like, blah, blah, blah. And even when she saw your boy, Killmonger, and she was like, I'm nothing like you. But then we get to the island, and she has the flashback, and she's like, I'm going to be begging for him. She had to switch back.
She was like, murder, murder, kill, kill. That's all that mattered.
Pretty much. So...
interesting relationship indeed.
Yeah, all of them are pretty good. I would say it's definitely worth watching. Watching the friendships with Okoye, the leader of the Dole Milaje, or is it the Dole Milaje?
Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje, and who you thought was going to be the Black Panther.
They kept calling her mother.
No, yeah, she is. No, I'm just saying. I just cannot believe that's who you thought was going to be the next.
Angela Bassett was going to be the Black Panther.
You thought
absolutely.
Angela Bassett was going to be the next Black Panther.
100%.
That's who you thought. You thought she was going to step down from Queen Mother.
She could have been both.
To Black Panther.
She could have been both. But yeah, so how is your final thoughts on the movie? Did you enjoy it?
I did.
Good. I also enjoyed it. Very interested to see how things go into the future. But yeah, I ain't gonna hold you, girl. I'm tired. So let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, you can tell us what you think about the movie. You can reach out to us. We are on Twitter at Funny Podcast. That's FUNI Podcast. We are also on Instagram. That is Friendship University. On Instagram at Friendship University. We also have a Gmail. That's at the Friendship University at gmail.com. Please let us know your takes on the film, what your takes on friendship are, anything we discuss. Hit us up. And you can watch out for us every Friday, Friendship Fridays.
Bye.